Forgot to put my mic down so you can actually hear that. Anyways, welcome to the Tuesday development stream, working on CoolZone as per the usual. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking that we want to be doing today. Let me reduce the audio just a little bit more. Yeah, so the main goal for today's stream is going to be... Let me crack the window real quick. It's a little hot in here. Okay, so today might be a little bit on the shorter side, because the big thing I want to work on this week is writing stuff, and having a big Google Doc of me typing out a rough draft isn't the most entertaining thing to watch. Yeah, so we're probably going to be focusing mostly on making some good progress in terms of area design. We got some places that need touching up, that need some redesigning. So yeah, that's probably what we are going to be focusing on today. Yeah. Let me scoot forward just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so let's go to... We're doing these like visual testing areas. I guess as a little recap. Last week we worked on this. I made this like battle test demo, and I've sort of realized that one of the biggest things that's holding back testing is it's really difficult to accurately test something because, you know, I guess I can give you a little brief understanding what I mean. A lot of the information that should be getting communicated is a little hard to tell what's going on. Like, some of that information isn't quite there yet, because we need a lot of the animation work done. We need to redesign a lot of the... Oh, yeah, I've got a new playlist in for stream music, so we should get in a good variety today, and I won't have to keep fiddling with it like I usually do. Anyways, yeah, so it's hard to get a good test of if the battle system fully works or not, because the animations aren't in place, none of the information that should be showing up is showing up, plus there's a couple of bugs here and there that I still need to sort out, so it's not the best test right now, just to see if it is how we want it to. If this isn't the best judge of it being how we want, whatever. Point is, that still needs some more time to cook. As with everything else about this game, it needs a little more time in the oven. Okay, so what do we want to do for redesign? Well, this needs to be designed in the first place, but that was when I was still trying to figure out how to do box pushing puzzles. Yeah, so this was the approach map, which is just like a little test setup. Yeah, it was a little test just to see how... I wanted to redo a little bit of my design philosophy, and it seems like I'm probably going to end up redesigning it, because I've had yet another shift in how I want this game to be structured, although I think I'm going to try to restrain myself a little bit from changing things too much, because I really need to get like a solid prototype in place to see if that works or not. Because combat, from my tests I did last week, I felt like that was in a pretty solid place where it was really fun to do, but the communication just wasn't fully there yet. Yeah, so we're gonna try to keep we're gonna try to keep the we're not gonna alter too much. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's because I really just need to see if these ideas fundamentally are fun or not. So instead, I think it's going to be redesigning a couple of maps that are a little bit older, so probably this one, and especially this one, because this is the first map that I made for this whole thing. So it really needs some touching up, let me tell you. Yeah, so there's this map that needs done. Probably going to redo this one, although I could keep it still simple. I need to introduce a separate tutorial map as well, which I could also do that today. That'd be pretty quick and easy to knock out of the way, I feel. So you got those two maps. And then, yeah, I mean, the rest of the work, I think, is just going to be putting content in. So, like, putting in battles, trying to properly balance the battles, putting in items, like healing items to keep that balanced as well. You know, just all the finer points of keeping the game, making the game functional and also fun. Yeah, so probably nothing huge, just a lot of small changes that should add up to, well, you know, a good product. Okay, so we're going to start by making a new map, and we're just going to call this tutorial. Make it like, we'll give it like a, why does my face keep going orange? Give it like a height of 25-ish, and then a width of like, it's like 90, so we have plenty of space to work with. Sure. We'll give it battle background, in case I want to do like a battle tutorial. Okay, so what we're going to want to do now is, we're going to fill it with just a void first. And then we'll lay out sort of a general, like, floor layout. Something like that. And we'll give it like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 4 blocks of space on each side. 1, 2, 3. So we'll trim it down a little bit. Then we will just sort of drag this across. Go. So now we've got a bit of a wall, and then we're just gonna add this, so it has a little bit more sense of depth to it. Cool. So that's a little wide. We can finagle it as we see fit. So the player's gonna be right here. We'll have a something like here, like, welcome to the CoolZone instructional facility. Please, what? Please make use of our various teaching tools to get familiar with the mechanics and controls of this game. Use arrow keys to walk, and Z to interact. And that'll be an auto run, so it'll run automatically. And then after it runs, it'll control self-switch A, which means that it'll basically run a text box and then turn itself off. So it won't keep running that same text box over and over. Okay, so that'll run the text box once. And then we're gonna zoom in. And you know what? We're gonna fine-tune this area around Dorbo a bit. Just make it real small. Yeah, so the player's gonna be right here. We'll start with the basic tutorial, like a little, let's put like an exclamation point. Examine, yeah. So, we'll give a couple of other things, like, so we'll start with just, like, basic interaction. So, we'll start with, like, a box. Whenever you see a box in your path, push it with Z. Actually, I could just sort of... Now, we'll give the player a little bit more respect, I think. We'll let them figure it out a little more on their own. Although, in the full game, all of this will be less explicitly tutorialized, and, like, there's gonna be, like, an opening, like, prologue bit in this town. And that's where a lot of this tutorial stuff is gonna be done. So I'm fine with just sort of having a more explicit, like, tutorial in this instance. Okay, so This will be something simple. They just have to push a box out of the way to progress. That's the wrong shade. Alright, so this is like I said, a very simple little challenge. Like, all they have to do is push this box out of the way and they are good to go. So that's the first trial. Let's see, what do we want to teach next? Let's go with colored buttons and switches. So we can do something right here. We go to the box test. We're gonna have to bring the puzzle testing thing in as always, which is kind of a pain to work with, as you'll soon see. But whatever, that's how it goes. We're gonna make it... Actually, we'll go blue. Blue's a little bit more distinctive. And we'll even make it a little bit more interesting by swapping these around, just to like really teach the player that they have to be pushing it onto the correct one. Like that red goes on red, blue goes on blue. You know, it's simple, but sort of making the player do that. It just ensures that they figure it out, and it more explicitly teaches them how it works, rather than me just sort of... I don't know, I think having something like this is just a little bit more engaging than just like some text box, you know? Okay, so we've got that. We'll put the door like right here, or so. Something like that. There we go. Cool. So we're gonna put a door here. Where are the doors? That's right. I just blanked over them, as I tend to do. So this is just gonna be locked. We'll have like a text box that says something like, maybe you should do something with those nearby switches. Peculiar. And we'll create a new event page where it's gone if variable tutorial door, sure, is greater than or equal to 2. Actually, no, we'll use multi-press, the good old multi-press value. Where is multi-press? Where did I put? That's right, multi-press. Greater than 2. Greater than or equal to 2. Okay, yeah, that should probably do it for that bit. I'll just double check and make sure that everything is functioning as intended. So we should be able to do, well, something like that. Uh-oh. No. No. Let me turn my sound effects on just to see if it's working. Is it not? Oh, no, wait. Yeah. I've got to do that thing that I hate doing. Okay, so I gotta set red box X to... Oh, that's right, I gotta go to red box, make sure it's... Yep, red box. Red button. Blue box. Blue button. Okay, so that's in order. But what I have to do now is go to red box X, map X of red box, and then red box, red box. Red button, red button. Red button, red button. Yeah, and this is something that I have to do for every single map in the game that uses these boxes. So, yeah, there's a... It's really quite annoying. As I'm sure we'll not... Wait, yellow, I don't even need to use the yellow ones. Okay, so we'll set blue box to blue box, yada yada. Blue box, and then blue button, blue button. Oh. Thinking down in my chair a little bit. Blue button, blue button. Boom. Okay, so that should put everything in order. Alright, there we go. Easy peasy. And reset. Okay, I might need to... I had a little plugin to make sounds whenever you bonk into a wall. I might need to turn that off, because I didn't really take into account that it would do that every single time that you're trying to push a box, which I feel like that's gonna get super annoying. So, you know, we'll probably cut down on that a touch. Okay. So that part of the tutorial is all in order. Okay. So got that done. Okay, so let me think what else I need to teach the player. Okay, no, I got it. So I'm gonna teach him about dodging enemies. So what I'm gonna do is have a little something like this. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And here's what I'm thinking. Actually, you know what? We'll push this back a little. Like right there. We'll grab one of these, just like copy-paste enemies from, say like right here, we can just grab this guy. Actually, this is a little large. Maybe there's a way to test it a little smaller and more simply. Okay, here's what I got. We're gonna grab this to mark an indicator as a pathway. We'll just have them going up and down like this. Yeah. And we'll put a box right here. Yeah, so what this will do is this will basically just force the player to utilize the mechanic of blocking off enemies with boxes. Yeah, because I kind of like how this is going, actually, because I feel like this will be a pretty effective, like, wordless tutorial. I think if you don't make the player's eyes glaze over with, like, a bunch of text boxes and just like, an experienced player could probably blitz through this in, like, 2 minutes or something once it's all in place. But but somebody who might not can sort of methodically figure it out. And I think you'll get a bit of satisfaction if you can, even if it's something really simple like this. If you're not familiar with it, it can just feel nice too. Like, oh, okay, I get it. Now I understand the mechanic works. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're gonna grab this guy and put him right here. Yeah, move him down. So, actually, this was a bad one to pick. Let's just pick something from the base of Act 2. Yeah, let's grab one of the arrow guys. Okay, so put him like right here. And if you touch him, then it will not do battle processing. It will not control self-switch. What it will do... We'll just say that it transfers the player right back here. Easy peasy. And for the route, for his movement route, he will go... up, 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 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll make him pretty fast. So that way you can't really sneak past him unless you use the box. Okay, I clearly need to make him faster. Is this fast enough, or is this still gonna be too slow? No, that's... Alright. Way faster. It's going lightning quick. He's zip-zooming. Whoa, you can still make it through there? Alright, well, whatever. No, I shouldn't be so laissez-faire about it, because this is kind of important to, like, making sure the players understand the mechanics. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I'm just kind of shocked you can actually slip through there. Oh well. Yeah. I doubt most people are going to be able to do that, and will probably sooner figure out the box thing. Okay, so I think the last thing I want to teach for this segment of tutorial, because the thing that I'm really concerned about tutorializing is combat. Because I don't know how to do that well. Maybe the simplest method is just sort of let the player figure it out as they go along. You know, in a little bit more of a naturalistic way. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just set up, like, some enemy patterns to dodge. Something very simple. We'll close all this off, and we'll figure out a route and then design around that. We'll do something real simple, just like a little 4. Then maybe a 3. That's real tricky. Just like a 4, and then you need a space to hide. So 1, 2, 3, 2. And we'll give the player a little bit more breathing room than that. 2, 3, 4. And then we'll have like a square pattern that they have to go around, like up this way. And then like a square pattern that they have to follow around once again. And then we'll leave them like right here, which will be the end point. Cool. It's simple, but I think this should be decently effective. Drag everything into place. Add a little bit of depth that I like doing. There you go. Now it looks a little more 3D. Looks a little more. Well, maybe 3D is a bit of a stretch, but it looks more. It's got more depth, more dimension. Anyways, we will add a pathway like right here. That'll leave you in like this room. We'll make this like the tutorial conclusion. Yeah, this will be like the end of the tutorial. Well, at least the end of the first segment of the tutorial. I might have one of my my less game-prone family members to try this out, just to see how they sort of get along with it. 1, 2, 3. And we'll set a full second of waiting. This is supposed to be pretty simple after all. Like, this is literally just the tutorial. Really the goal with this bit is just gonna be to get the player in and out as quick as we can. Okay, so we got this guy in place. And we'll get this guy. Easy peasy. I made a new event out in the middle of space. Okay, so this guy is gonna be going 1, 2, 3, up, 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 right, 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 down, 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 left, left, left. And he'll go normal speed. Actually, we'll make this guy go the opposite way. That'll be a little more interesting, I think. We'll go right, 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 up, 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 left, 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 down, down, down. Okay, let's give this this little bit of the tutorial a test run. If you touch it, yep, horse back. Yay, huzzah! Ooh, okay, no, I just thought of a really fun idea. So something that I think could sort of complete the... give this area a nice visual identity and give it a little bit more... ground it a little bit more, narratively, you know? Is... one of the three main characters, Grumbleina, she's like very studious. She has like a notebook and she takes a lot of like notes and stuff that you could like look back over the course of the game. It's like about various things that you come across. So like before the game starts, she'd say something like, "Oh, we should probably take a look back at our notes, our adventurer's notes, just to make sure we know what we're doing." And then this, it'd probably be pretty simple to do for this, I imagine, but we could make, like, the character sprites be, like sketchier versions of themselves, like, just be white, like, black, outline, but then, like, a white center. And then the tiles are all just, like, sketchy looking, so it's like you're going through a little sketchbook. And that's like you reviewing the notes and learning the tutorial. Like, I think that's a really fun way of doing it. Looks like we're We'll just teleport the player to the next section of tutorial. We'll call this, puzzle tutorial. We got puzzle tutorial, and then we've got... Combat tutorial. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with such an obvious name. Height 25, width of... I feel like 50. Probably not gonna need too much width for this. There we go. We got the full map. I think we're gonna start by panning a little floor in right here. So this will be like where the player starts. And then they'll sort of saunter out into this bit. I don't really want these guys to pose too much of a threat to the player. I'm just trying to think about how I want to handle the mechanics being introduced. Because I could start with just like a super duper simple battle tutorial where it's just attacks. And then I do something else that's like the attack start thing. No, whatever. Let me rephrase it. So each character has a bunch of different abilities that they have access to, and it changes depending on the character. And I want a lot of the stuff to be figured out via experimentation. So here's what I'm thinking. One, I'll make this, like, brain work with me here. I'll make, like, a separate area in this sketchbook where it's, like, a little training room. And what that'll do is it'll just be, like, a place where you can fight, like, a dummy enemy that has, like, infinite health, and you can just escape at any time, but you can use that to sort of practice a lot of your skills and study up on the properties of all your different moves and whatnot. And I'll also have, like, that training room be here in the combat test room. But I'll start with, like, maybe I'll limit the skills the player has to, like, just having attacks, and then they unlock their secondary abilities, and then I introduce the color system. Although I think I'm overthinking this a bit, because the combat stuff is still really being fleshed out, so it's a little hard to say for sure how it's gonna go. So yeah, thinking about it rationally, I should probably hold off on tutorializing something until I've properly got a good idea of what it is that I'm tutorializing. Which, you know, while obvious, is something that I think bears repeating. So we'll just block this off for now, and we'll do the combat tutorial test thing when it feels appropriate. For now, I'll put Dorbo in there. Put this to. Congrats, you cleared the basic puzzle test thing. And I'll get, like, I don't know, my mom or somebody to give that a run through just to make sure it's all simple and easy to understand. Okay. Before I forget, I'm gonna turn off this plugin that plays a sound effect whenever you run into something. I think that's just gonna... I feel in the long run that's gonna end up driving me up the wall. Just doing that sound every 4 seconds, especially with how often you're gonna be pushing things. Oops, I pushed it too far, now I can reset. There you go, tutorial speedrun. It only took me 30 seconds, look at that. That's a new world record, baby. Let me close out all these test things, which I'm realizing now I have quite a few of. Like this one, look at this. This is my I call this the Frogger test, because this is when I was, like, really testing the game out, going full in on Frogger mode. Which, you know, maybe it wasn't the best of decisions, retroactively, but whatever. We still sort of have those Frogger-ish, that Frogger-ish sense of design. It's just handled a little bit less stupidly, I think, now. Okay, so we're gonna call this tutorial. We'll just call it, we'll call it approach 2. About how big do we want to make that? Pretty large, I think, because this is going to be more space for the player to sort of get their bearings, but not like absurdly large. As long as it's long enough. Oh yeah, this is truly one of the rougher patches for CoolZone 0. This is the original design of the approach area. So this was my first map, which you can tell because there's like no interesting events or anything going on. It's just kind of like a couple of enemy patterns that are moving back. Like that, all these things are just moving back and forth. It's just like a couple of really simple, kind of boring patterns without much variety going on, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do now. Yeah, like you can see here in this map, or heck, something like the entirety of the inside of the train station, where it's like all about gathering up a bunch of different participants for like one big tournament. You can kind of tell where I've been figuring out what I want this game to be like. Which, on that note, I am still a bit concerned that, oh, I want to... Sorry about that, same thing. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so my biggest concern with how this game is structured right now is that it might end up feeling really unfocused. Because it's a fairly linear run-through of areas that are kind of open-ended, so you can approach... There's like, each area has like a couple of different tasks you need to do to proceed, and you can approach them in sort of an open-ended way, for the most part. Some of them are a little bit more structured, which we'll look and see if I feel like opening them up might be beneficial, which it could, very well could. You know, like adding in 1 or 2 extra split pathways just to keep it a little more diverse and interesting. But it's basically just a linear run-through of an area with a bunch of different, like, wacky events and hijinks going on. Like, oh, I gotta flip this lever to open the door, but there's a big enemy guy guarding it who's got, like, this super unique way of attacking. Or, like, now you're fighting a group of 3, or you gotta do this, like, unique puzzle, or, oh, I found this little secret bunker area, you know? There's all sorts of things to encounter. Yeah. So like I said, the concern with that is that it could end up feeling really unfocused. But we'll see, because a lot of other games, some other games do take that approach. Something like, let's say Deltarune Chapter 2. That is a very similar approach, where it's like all about throwing a bunch of different mini-bosses at you, or unique puzzle, like, scenarios, or like a story sequence, or like an action-based sequence, right? And that doesn't really feel unfocused, it just feels like consistently entertaining. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Okay, so here's what, with the rambling and the thinking out of the way, we're gonna make approach 2, which will be the revision of this. Once the actual, like, full thing is sort of in order and we've got a much better idea of how it should be structured, then we can whatever, we'll take it from there. Once we've got a more thorough idea of what it's like, then we can sort of go through this little sidebar here and trim and pick out all the little bits that just don't make all that much sense. So let's make it... how long should that be? This one's about 60 by 65. Let's make it 100 by 100. Just to ensure we have lots of space to work with. Okay, what do I want to use for a battle back? Let's go with background, sure. This one's kind of cool and wavy. Okay, so first things first. We are just going to put down a bunch of blue. So this is what the player is going to be walking on. Second step, this is on a lake. So, wrong button. So we're going to add the lakefront right here. There you go. Look at that. Lakefront. You can tell. Cool. Next thing we need to have for certain is the bridge. It should be 1, 2, 3 wide. There you go. That's the bridge. Well, we've got the two things that are essential in place. Now it's all about filling out the rest of it with neat little details and all sorts of nooks and crannies and whatnot. Alright, we'll put the stupid water texture in. There we go. Let me think of any other environmental details I need to add, just so I don't forget. Okay, so we'll put in the lake right here. We'll sort of paint that in, roughly. Okay, so one of the events in this area is a farm, so we're gonna put it right here. We'll zoom right there. It's probably gonna be a lot of work because this map has grown considerably larger since I've last worked on it. We'll make it a little larger. So this is the farmhouse. The fields will be like right here, I guess, like right here. Which we'll demarcate that with a little rectangular doodad here. There's gonna be a big like robot, like a harvesting machine right here that you fight as a mini boss. That's gonna be fun, but he'll go right there. Cool. Yeah, that seems like that should be good. There you go. Easy peasy. So we've got one event in place, which is a good first start. I'm gonna check my script actually, just so I don't forget anything that I need. Okay, so I've got my notes here for everything that I want to put in this area. Let's see. Come on, where is it? Okay, yeah, here we go. So there's a couple of major things here. There's two required events, both of which you have to do to get a key part. So one is this farm bit down here, and the other is going to be a battle with the battle and introduction to the Tricolor Trio, who are going to sort of serve as like a major antagonists for the rest of the game. Yeah. In fact, we can even... Okay, let me. I think I want to restructure this area a little bit. We'll have a bit of an intro. We'll have the first chunk of the map, which takes place right about here. So say it's something like there's some different pathways you can go, a little bit of exploration about here. And then, yeah, what this whole bit'll do is get you the first key, which you use to unlock a gate, like right here. And then, upon unlocking the gate, you encounter the Tricolor Trio, like who would be the major rivals for this section of the story. And then you sort of chase them down across the bridge here. And yeah, so you'll have this chunk here and this chunk here. Maybe we can even do some sort of puzzle involving like the fleeing tricolors. That could be fun. I don't know, that sounds interesting. Now the question is, how do... Okay, so I've got all this space, right? You might be thinking, what are you gonna do with all this space? And the idea for that is that there's gonna be an unlockable super boss at the very end of the chapter. And if you collect these like 3 maybe like ID cards or something, because it's like supposed to be for like a more futuristic area, then you can fight this bonus boss. So over here I could make some bonus challenges and really ramp up the difficulty a lot in this area. Because I was talking to my my fellow developers about this, and we've sort of come to an agreement that it would be best to avoid having like a normal mode, hard mode, and instead have one set difficulty with optional additional challenges. So make normal mode a decent challenge, nothing absurd, but like you're gonna have to think to succeed. But then the real fun challenge comes from the like for those who really want to seek, if you want to get the real tough challenges, you sort of have to seek that out. So that'll be something like finding those bonuses to get like a super hard super boss, or like a bonus challenge in an area, like you'll get like an extra reward if you can clear this section without getting hit once, or you'll get a bonus for doing this section super fast, you know? Basically allowing for a bit of variable difficulty. Like that's kind of the perfect thing about, say, like most speed games, you know, like speedrunning, is that it's got like basically an infinite skill ceiling. Like you can get better and better and better and better, and that can give a game so much replayability because there's so much to improve upon, you know? And obviously this won't be nearly to that extent. It won't, you know, our skill floors and ceilings will be a little closer together than I think is what we want, but there'll be enough of a gap to make it still pretty fun to go for those bonus challenges if you're the persistent type. Anyways, that's a lot of rambling. Let's get back to designing. Yeah, we gotta make a start to the area. Right there. There you go. Easy peasy. So this will be the gate. Right here. Right there. Then you unlock the gate. Yeah, you unlock the gate. And then... Let's see, we can have like the little mini boss encounter right here. And then I have to think about how I want this chase scene to work, so we'll hold off on that for just a sec. So we'll have a path to these guys at just sort of this farm area, something like that. There you go. Not super straightforward, but it's not too confusing neither. So we'll just sort of add some detail to this path. It's a little thin at points, to the point where you actually can't get through. So let me fix all that. Oh yeah, see, this is something I don't understand. Look at my face cam again. Now it's all like weird and gray. Then sometimes it gets super vibrant for no reason. Let me see if I like switch tabs, if that'll do something. Oh, well, it's more vibrant. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now it's back to, like, super orange. I mean, I guess I couldn't expect anything too crazy from my, like, crappy, inbuilt to my laptop, like, webcam, but whatever. I find it amusing. Why does the bridge not go all the way out? That's weird. Now it does. Okay, so we've got this little pathway going on. Now we got, oops, wrong tile. Now we want to design a couple of offshoots. Just give it a little bit more thickness to work with. There we go. Okay, so we've got the first sort of easy pathway. We'll have something sort of going like... something like that, so you can also get to the exit. And then we'll have a branch here. Something a little bit like that, yeah. Coolio. And we will add a gap right in here. And in here. Then I got two different ways to get to the farm and to the exit. So we got space right here. I think right here we'll add a... yeah, there we go. You can sort of wedge your way right in here. We'll put a little secret up in there too. Maybe some sort of like bigger reward, since this is a little out of the way. And then we have this space to work with. We'll put like a double prong thing right here. Yeah, so you can slip your way in through right there. So you got something here. Cool, cool. Alright, this is starting to take form, take shape. Yeah, area design's something that I'd like to think I'm getting better at, but I'm still sort of trying to figure it out. I've been studying up on a lot of area design, and I've found that a lot of it is it's important that you're either like you don't want the player to just have to be running through a bunch of empty space for a long period of time, because that can get pretty dull. Think like Hyrule Field and Ocarina of Time, where it's like sort of this large hub where there's not really much interesting going on, aside from like a couple things here and there. And I think that we'll have less of an issue with how we're structuring it, like having enemies be everywhere and a lot of rewards to find all over the place. So even in a more relaxed, more open area that's not as... because some of the later bits will be super event-driven, like puzzle, 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 combat encounter, puzzle, combat encounter, mini-boss, puzzle. You know, this is going to be a little looser than that, where you can just sort of go at your own pace and find some extra collectibles. Which reminds me of an idea that I wanted to implement. There was this mechanic I really like in Final Fantasy IV DS, where you have like a little map on your bottom screen, which on its own is a nice convenience, but it'll fill out as you go, and if you completely fill out the entire map of the dungeon, or at least of that, each floor of the dungeon, you get a small reward. So let's say that in this instance, if you ever find if you find all of the collectibles in a map, then you unlock. Then you just get like even more collectible. Like something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it is like an additional small reward for being like, hey, you went out of your way to snag all those things. Here's a little present for you, a little reward. There's a lot of things I want to do, which is probably my biggest concern with getting this game out, because my initial horrifically unrealistic plan was to have a full Kickstarter demo done by the end of the summer, before I went back to school, because once I do, my time's going to be a lot more limited, obviously. Now, if you've ever worked on a video game before, and I have, I've been working on games for quite a few years now, I really should have realized that that was far, far too ambitious of a goal for just one short little summer. And indeed it was. I am nowhere near being close to done with this project. We've sort of extended our deadline, or at least our expectations, a little bit, to within a year, which is quite a long time, but for a game, especially for a game for a couple of amateur developers who are still trying to figure out how to make a game good, which is really the big question. It's the tricky thing to figure out. I think that having that year is pretty reasonable, even if that year is just for this Kickstarter demo. Which I feel it's a little depressing to talk about, because I know that I'm probably going to have to be working my ass off on this throughout not just the rest of the summer, which is about another month from... Yeah, I'm going back on like the 22nd, I think. So I've got about a month left of summer. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to be working a lot during school, because I'm only in my sophomore year of college. I've got plenty of time left to do stuff. But I've got a weird schedule. It's pretty wonky, but it should at least give me time to do 1 to 2 development streams per week, even on a regular like school week. So I'm not concerned about having time, but I know that I'm gonna be really, really tired, because school just sort of takes it out of you. I don't think it's too surprising. Some weeks I probably won't be able to stream either, just due to having a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, that's a lot of rambling, but this game is coming out. When? I don't know. But it is... I guarantee that it will... Okay, I will say this. I guarantee that this demo, the Kickstarter demo, will be done before I am done with college, which is a very, very broad goal, and I think should be very realistic to meet, because I've still got like another 3 years. That is the objective. But ideally, like, I don't want this demo to come out any later than a year from now. I guess like a year from August. If by August 2023 this is not out, I'm gonna probably just be really mad and keep working on it. I don't have any threats for what I would do. Anyways. So we're gonna have to get on filling this area out with some more people to dodge, more puzzles to solve, more collectibles to snag. And we will. But it has been about an hour, and this is usually around the time when I take a short break. And that will be what I do. Yeah, I'm gonna take a step outside, get some fresh air, refill my water, so... I'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't you go nowhere. Yeah. But wrong screen. There we go. Hey, there we go. We are back. Got a full glass of water. Got a breath of fresh air. And we are good to go. Now, I did notice something. I should probably figure out a better thumbnail for my streams, because let me see if you can just see if you can figure out the problem is here. So you can see my banner right there is dies from cringe because I found that amusing. But that's also the thumbnail for my stream, which, granted, admittedly, might not be the most appealing thing for most people to be clicking on. It's probably not what people want to see for a stream. So I should make a specific ooh, that was grody. I'm sorry. That this is why I don't get viewers. People are groated out by the burping. Anyways, yeah, I should probably get on making a specific thumbnail for the streams that people would actually want to click on, even if it's like kind of bad. I think that's a lot of videos with stupid thumbnails get clicked on. It should be a little bit better than an entirely unrelated Shrek 2 meme, you know? Very dumb. Okay, so we've got this bit in. We will fill that out. We will populate it with all sorts of enemies and such, but probably not today. Today I feel a little bit more like just structuring things. So yeah, I think next I'm gonna work on this area, which I mentioned I wanted it to be a bit more, a little bit more challenging. It'll be a bit of a, yeah, it'll be a challenge. It'll be a challenge. Although I don't think I'll be streaming for too much longer today, because, like I had mentioned earlier, the main goal for a lot of today's progress and a lot of this week's progress is focused on writing, getting writing done, which I really need to do. It's very important. And I suppose I don't necessarily mind showing some of the writing stuff, like some of the writing stuff on stream, but the biggest concern I have on that front is, well, I still have some of my self-consciousness about me. I haven't, despite having streamed for a month and a half now, 2 months, something like that. I'm certainly not past my self-consciousness. And so here's the thing about writing, is that one of the cardinal key rules is that you really just need to get something out first. It's your rough draft. And I don't think that a rough draft is ever gonna be good. Like, even from what I've heard, and what my teacher told my lit teacher told me back in high school, is that even the best of the best of the best, like, writers, their first drafts are always just bad, or at the very least, not good. And I am not one of the best writers in literature. So imagine how great my first drafts are. They're not. Anyways, long-winded way of saying, I definitely don't want to stream the writing stuff, because I would be streaming, well, one, it would be boring, and two, it'd be streaming my first drafts, which are just, it would just be bad. Like, it would be bad. And I don't want to show that to anybody. Not if I can help it. Alright, cool, we got a long pathway, yada yada yada. You know what? My idea was just sort of to make this like a really long, kind of treacherous area, but I feel like I could do something a little bit more interesting for like a bonus challenge zone. Probably give it at least like give it like a unique gimmick, you know? Like, this is supposed to be like a bunker that's under lock and key. Okay, no, I got it. So, there's a couple of different hidden, like, bunkers around this area, and you need to find the 3 different key cards. And the places that they're all hidden are either undiscovered or... Because this is an area that used to be like a trade center before it got taken over. So it was being... The people who ran that trade center were hiding the keycards. And now that the Jumbites who've taken over this area, they're trying to find them on their own. You know? I think that could be fun. So, like, they're trying to break into the bunker, and you've got to, like, sneak around and try to get in there. And maybe it could even be something like... Because usually what I do is I'll allow the player to... I'll intentionally allow the player to, like... Because you want to dodge enemies most of the time, but if you run into them, you'll just have a combat encounter, right? But what if I shift it around a little bit so that if you get spotted, you instantly get sent back? So it's an area where you do have a little bit less of a safety blanket, and it's like kind of a long gauntlet where you have to get through a bunch of stuff without getting spotted. I think that's like a pretty simple way of creating a little bit of variety. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I guess the next question from that point, the natural question is, okay, so how do I come up with a cool new design for enemy dodging? Because this is probably my biggest, my singular biggest concern with this game's design as it stands right now. So here's like one of the first maps. Sorry, this is the first map of the game. Each of these little pink bits represents, or orangish bits, represent a path that an enemy will take. So you've got something right here where they'll follow around in this little rectangular shape, and you gotta like bob and weave in and out around them. You've got this like little, I call this the dueling squares, because it's like they go in different patterns around the square and you gotta work your way in. You've got this sort of a different square pattern, you got simple back and forths, you've got these U-turns, you got diagonals, all sorts of different shapes of patterns that enemies will make that the player has to dodge. Anything on its face, that can be pretty fun. But the question is, how do I keep that interesting for a game that's likely going to be decently long? Because this is an RPG. You know, we want the game to... It's not going to be insanely long. I can't imagine it'll be much more than 10 hours, if it even reaches that. We'll see. I bet it'll be rather on the shorter side. Which I think it'll work in our favor. But I feel like it'll be very easy for something like this to get kind of monotonous. Which, believe me, is the last thing that I want to happen. I don't want playing through this game to be a slog. So, it's all about, I think, finding ways to take this simple mechanic and implement a new twist on it that makes it fun. You know, really extrapolating something unique and challenging and interesting out of these basic mechanics. You know what I mean? But we'll see. It is a tough question, but also a question that I think is well worth trying to figure out. Maybe that'll probably have to be a whole stream in its own of just like experimenting with enemy patterns just to see what kind of intrigue and fun challenges that can be that I can build on top of with my currently pretty limited set of mechanics. Now, that is a question for perhaps another day, although it is a very, very important one. Huh. I should probably do some more research on this subject, on like how to keep things interesting, because, well, for one, I need to figure out how to keep my focus intact, because, as I'm sure any regular viewer could tell you, that I tend to jump around from topic to topic quite often. Probably because I have poor focus, and I like working on everything at once. But I should probably just play a game that has sort of a similar approach, and just see how they do it, how they keep it fun. Because, I mean, it really might just be as simple as what we're doing right now, which is just have frequent events which shake up the gameplay. Like, that really might be all it takes, because something like Deltarune works pretty similarly. You know? And something like Undertale, right, which is massively successful and popular. I would argue that what we're doing here is probably going to have more varied and interesting area designs when it comes to the types of obstacles that you're dodging, and the frequency of events in your environments. There'll probably be more things going on here than in something like Undertale. I'm not saying this is going to be better than Undertale, but I feel like that's one of the areas where something like that falters a little bit, but it still works in its favor. Well, most of the time. Sometimes some areas are just a little lackluster. Some areas are really good, like that lava area with the different lasers. That's a very fun area. Wait, what the heck? Oh, apparently I'm having a streaming issue on my YouTube channel? I don't think so. Looks like it's streaming pretty good from my end. So let me check this out real quick before I proceed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's telling me that the little streaming application is telling me that it's not working, but from what I'm seeing, from what I'm looking at right here, it is 100% functional. That's strange. Well, anyways, with that, we will continue doing what we are doing. What was I doing, though? I think I was just brainstorming. Which is a valuable thing, to try to think through a lot of these decisions, because for my original project, I didn't really tend to think my decisions through all too carefully, and it sort of resulted in a sort of slapdash product that was pretty lackluster and didn't really have much going on, other than just like a couple of basic fights. With really no exploration involved, it was just like a straight line. It's a straight line with a few curves. That's all it really was. There wasn't even... I think there was like one split pathway, and all you could do is like avoid one enemy encounter, when there's not really any point in dodging enemies, because they're like, fighting enemies is only rewarding in that original prototype. Whatever. So, okay. Here's where we're at. I'm designing the area. I'm getting in my own head. I'm really thinking about, oh, is this idea good or not? And, quite frankly, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not. See, I think it would feel a little bit more reassured if I had a full area, like, designed. Because how it is right now is that nothing is really fully in place. Because what I did like last week was I worked on my combat prototype, and I just had 3 battles in a row, and you could just fight them. And that sort of showed to me that that gave me a lot of optimism, gave me a lot of hope, because it's like, okay, this combat system is actually pretty fun. Like, I got to test it, I got to explore it, and it felt pretty, like, satisfying to properly utilize. So what I should probably do is just stop waffling around, stop focusing on a bunch of different things at once, and just settle down, focus on one thing, and just design an area of the game, put everything in place, and test it to see if it is fun. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm doing little halvesies. Like, I've got part of this map design, I got part of this map design, I got the layout designed here, but then I don't get around to the meat and potatoes, because that's the really, really hard part, you know? It's easy to get, like, a general basic layout of a map like this. The challenging part is putting in the enemies, the collectibles, the patterns, the mechanics, all that stuff. The actual events, the content, the meat and potatoes, like I said. That's the challenging part. Which is probably why I'm so reluctant to do it. Because it's, you know, it's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, no, it's stressful. It's challenging. But I think that if I can get a solid idea, if I can just fill out an area with all the puzzles, all the collectibles, all the enemies, and try to balance it, just realistically, reasonably balance it, and just give it a test run, then I should be able to judge from that if it is actually fun or not. So, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna... Oops, sorry, move my mic. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stop trying to worry about all these other things and doing half measures. And we're just gonna focus on what needs doing. In fact, I'm gonna change my goal text. I haven't changed the goal text in a while. We're gonna say, finishing. We'll call it exploration prototype. Let me see how the space lines up on that. Yeah, exploration prototype. Nothing else. There we go. Make it a little, make it wide. So I cannot, at least on stream, I'm not gonna allow myself to do anything else other than work on this exploration prototype and get an area done and fleshed out to see if it works. That is it. That is all we're gonna do. I need to stop procrastinating. I need to get down to brass tacks and do the things that I don't want to do. Okay, so first things first. I'm gonna redesign this area a little bit. Which I know I just now said I was gonna do focus on the content. But this is relevant, I think, because I want the area to the area design is part of it. It's still part of it, and I need to get that done. So we're gonna fix this up, because I kind of don't like these rails going out diagonally. We're gonna have a little bit of a simpler approach where they're just sort of going left to right. Like how I'm thinking about this now. I think this area was like the first thing that I did on stream. It was a while ago now. That was fun though. I remember my first stream was a really fun one. I don't know why, but I think that's still been like my most successful one, which is admittedly a little bit depressing that I haven't managed to top that, like, one of my earliest streams. I don't think it was my first stream, it was like my second or something, but still. I would generally prefer if... I would prefer if I could, like... I don't know. I want to get good numbers. Like I did on like those first couple of ones, right? Like active chats. And it was obviously much easier to gain followers when you had a lot smaller number, but whatever. Not that that's the key concern, anyways. The main thing we're doing here is just focus on making the game. So we'll flesh this area out a little bit, fill in this little extra tidbits here and there. We'll make the water move. And we'll set the plate right here. So, something I think I might do is for these bits, just have like a little bridge go over them or something. Not super specific, but that doesn't really have to be anything super well thought out quite yet. Like I said, the content is what we're really, really trying to get to. Trying to get to the heart of the matter of the content. Is that content good? Is it good? That is the question. Yeah, here's one thing that I am a little concerned about, is I can't test out if exploration is that good, because I designed the map. that's one that I'm probably gonna need to get some feedback from my friends on, get them to play it. So I think having like little diverting pathways on it, otherwise linear thing, is probably the best way we're gonna be able to do it. But I don't know. I can only really test to see if running through the area doing the puzzles and whatnot is fun. Which is also hard, because I designed all the puzzles, so I already know what the solutions are. I don't know if this is clear, but this part is honestly the main, this sort of minutia of the area design, figuring out the puzzles and all that. It's like the single thing that is the most headache-inducing for me when it comes to this project. Alright, well, you know what? First things first, we're just gonna run through this area, we're gonna have a look at everything that I've previously designed, and we'll see if anything feels like it needs a bit of an overhaul. So this is the end point. There's this door, which you'll have to, solve all the puzzles in the area. Okay, well, I didn't even put anything in for this one. I guess I never got around to actually doing that bit. Oops. Okay, well, I have this bit, which... Oh, no, I see what I've... Yeah, no, okay, I was concerned that I did something stupid here. I mean, I did, kind of, but... Oops, encounter. We'll just get this guy. He'll be a pushover. Oh, I forgot to change the background on this one. Oops. Yeah, so, as I'm sure you could probably tell, the battle screen here is one of the more finished elements of the game, visually, anyways. There's still so much that needs to be done. Mostly in regards to animation. The sprites, these aren't just going to be still portraits, these are going to be fully animated sprites. Adding a bit more animation and movement to the menus. We're gonna have animated battle backgrounds, maybe an animation to this, if at all possible, but I don't think that's gonna be doable, unfortunately. We'll see, we'll see. Yeah, there's a lot of things to be refined on this front, but it is one of the elements that is relatively more polished. Relatively speaking. Let's give this this little section a run through one more time, because I kind of misunderstood my own concept. Because, yeah, this is simple. You gotta push the red onto the red. Oh, dang it. I messed up. There you go. Boom. Puzzle solved. Puzzle. More of a combat. Not combat. More of a... It's like a... Action test? I should come up with terms to describe the forms of gameplay. Oop, there we go. Oop. Look at that. Okay. That is not half bad. And dare I say, it's even half good. So, you know, not that good, but it's not bad. That's really what we're trying to get to, because like I was saying, that's the whole point of this test, is I want to see if this is just at its face, if this just feels fun or not. Which, now that I'm in it, I still think I really need to spruce up these enemy patterns, because these are just not that interesting. They might as well not be here. I mean, it's on the one hand, it's kind of fun to just have even if it's like an easy obstacle, it's kind of nice to have something that's like keeping you on your toes at all times. But like, it really could use some more work. Oh, he's so tiny. Oh, why is the sprite so small? I've got a much larger one that I could replace that with. How much health did I give this guy? And I don't think I balanced this guy yet, because I made this enemy before the combat prototype. Because I've gotten to the point now where I realized more of what I want the game to be like. So I don't think this guy's... yeah. Okay, that guy was not a good representation. Okay, so I got the puzzle here. There's a box here for whatever reason. Okay, so we're gonna wanna... this is actually good, because I forgot that I made this puzzle. So I can actually test this. So you're gonna want to get it here and then push it down. So if I do something like this, yeah, this. There we go. Okay, that was easy. That's another thing that I've got on my mind. Oops. Is I really tend to worry about it, because I like it when a game is like a good hearty challenge. But like, I'm just not that great at coming up with puzzle designs. And I think the only thing I can really do about that is just like knuckle down and really, really keep practicing at it and like trying to practice and hone those skills. Which is probably gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, that's actually a good pattern. I like that one. Yeah, that's a fun one. I like that. I also like these, where you like sort of have to position yourself correctly. There's a little technique you can do here, where you can fit yourself within a 2-wide space just by going up and down like that. Because ordinarily you'd have to be 3-wide, because if any of your dudes with you get touched, then it's also negative. Okay, yeah, see this one, that's an instance where I feel like it's a little too simplistic. Like, there's not even really anything to it. Like, it's really just there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I say that quite a bit. Quite a bit. Nice, block that guy off. We can head on up here, see if there's anything going on. Yeah, like this. I like the blocking enemies idea. I need to make it more than just one step. That's what I'm realizing here. You know, in fact, we're gonna open up a notepad. We're gonna call this Notes for What to Fix in the... okay, this is too long. Exploration Prototype Notes. 1. Make any challenge at least 2 steps. i.e., don't have just a simple dodge challenge with... Maybe I should think about how to rephrase it. I.e., don't make a box puzzle overly simplistic. It can be easy, just not excessively dull. Sure. 2. So is there anything else that I feel like I really should... What else do I feel like I really need to work on? Give clear indicator of a goal. I.e., so this would be like, clearly tell the player that they'll be rewarded for going out of their way to collect everything. And give each reward an explicit purpose beyond just being a collectible. Okay, so those are a good couple little notes, I think, just to for things to work on and refine. Oh, here's something. I know it's. I wanna emphasize an element of surprise, because I think that's where a lot of good comedy comes from. Is just something that sort of takes you off guard, and in a good way, not just like mild random, lol humor, stupid stuff like that. So we'll go with like element of surprise, i.e., make a challenge that looks simple but is more complex. Surprise, ambush out of nowhere. Let's see, what else would be like a good like surprise bit of design? Because I think surprises are very, very important to a game like this, that it's more comedically styled. Having that, and then being event-driven, being something that sort of takes you by surprise, I think is good. Random spectacle? But don't be too random. Give any surprise proper build-up first. Yeah, so like it could be something like something simple, like you can see like a little enemy sprite getting ready to ambush you. Like it looks like he's hiding behind a tree. But then if you walk past the bit where it looks like they'd ambush you, it runs out to ambush you and like trips or something. That's a simple example, but I think that's kind of the idea that I want to hone in on. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind. Yeah, so make any challenge a little bit more interesting. Make major secrets have their own events. Not just a simple hiding spot, but require some sort of extra effort. Also, hint at what those secrets... Hint at where those secrets are. So the player, like, knows that they're looking for something. And it can be really rewarding if, like, if somebody, like, gives you a hint, and you remember that hint, and you put it to good use later. It's like, okay, I know I heard this hint that, like, oh, there's some secret hiding behind the tree. So then you go to the tree, and you look behind it, the big tree, I mean, and... Yeah, so you go within... You have the mindset that you're looking for something, and then once you find it, it feels very rewarding, because it's like, aha, I kept an eye out, I was thinking about it, so that's a satisfying thing. Okay, so that's a good couple of notes for that. Is there anything else that I feel like I should learn from this? Because I've already run through pretty much everything that I had in. So I liked this bit. This was a fun little challenge. This bit was just kind of not good. This was way too simple. This wasn't even finished. This isn't bad, but it could really use something else. 5. I've gotten like Sonic 3 songs in a row. What are the odds of that? Actually, well, it's Sonic 2. Point is, I've had a lot of Sonic songs back to back. Okay, so what's the last thing I should keep in mind? I just said it, but I was distracted by how loud Chemical Plant was. What was it? Literally, what was it? This should... I've got such a terrible memory. What was it? I'm very dumb. Whatever, I'll save this as exploration notes. Exploration notes. Save it. Okay. So, I need to make any challenge have at least 2 steps. So, something right here where you just push it easy, easy peasy. It needs a little more complication. Oh wait, I remember. Keep iterating on puzzles to make them more interesting, challenging, and fun. Give clear indicator of a goal, which I have. I have this in place. So, like, you've got this, but then the side goal of, let's say, not getting hit a certain number of times, like avoiding enemy encounters. So that'll make this a lot more interesting too. Element of surprise. So every challenge will have maybe something surprising to it, whether it be an ambush, something being set up and then subverted, or any just kind of fun surprises. Major secrets being more than just like a, hey, you found a hidden wall. Make it a lot more satisfying and interesting to find. And then keep iterating on puzzles to make it more interesting, challenging, and fun. I think that is a very, very good place to call it for today. Because, like I said, main goal for this week is to focus on writing. And I am in a very writing-y mood right now, which I think I will do. I have to short break after the stream, because I need a little rest after these streams. It still take a lot out of me. And today was a bit of a quieter stream day, but that's fine. I get not like I'm not used to those. But yeah, I think this was good. And I'm glad I'm sitting down to finally focus on wrinkling out these rougher bits, working out the kinks of the combat formula, the gameplay formula. So, tune back in tomorrow at about noon to 1-ish starting time, and we will be, well, Eastern Standard Time, and we are going to be refining this area. We're going to be figuring it out further. We're going to make it more interesting. We're going to fill it with surprises. We're going to make it harder. We're going to make it more interesting. We're going to give it all a little bit more going on. We're going to make it cool. We're going to make it fun. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a great one.